Hi, my name's Ish Patel. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a while. The video you're about to see is my first vlog of this year, and it covers my experience at CES 2024. Now, to anybody else, it's probably just, hey, it's another random guy who went to CES, cut up his videos that he recorded and posted it online. But to me, this was important to document because this is something I've been working towards for 15 years of my life. It all started back in February of 2009. It was a cold morning. I had the covers over my head, and it was my birthday. I remember waking up to whispers in my room. I heard something being placed on the desk to my right, some more whispers, and then the door closed behind me. I slowly threw the covers off. I grabbed what was in the box, and it was a neatly wrapped rectangular box. No idea what's inside. I tear it open, and on the side, there was the iconic Apple logo. It said iPod Touch. There's not that many moments I can recall from my childhood, but that is a memory that I can close my eyes and relive vividly anytime I want. And to me, that was the defining moment that changed the trajectory of my life. Having access to all that information in my pocket opened up a whole new world of tech that I previously just wasn't privy to. Eventually got to a point where I had jailbroken my iPod Touch. I was installing custom frameworks, adding functionality that was not supposed to exist, as well as theming my device. All things which weren't supposed to be possible on iOS. That was something reserved for Android. And I remember I'd go to school. I'd get iPod Touches from my friends and other students. I'd bring them home secretly in my backpack. I'll jailbreak them all in the afternoon after I got home. I'd theme them however they requested, and then I'd take them back the next day and hand them back out. And so that's kind of how deep I got into this stuff. Fast forward a few years, and it was time to get my first mobile device. And so it was either between the iPhone at the time or the Samsung Galaxy S3. And I don't know what made me think about this that way back then, but I'm so glad I did. But I remember going, hey, this is an ecosystem I'm familiar with, an operating system I've used for years now. I'm very knowledgeable about this, whereas here's something that's completely new for me, very open, very customizable, so much more to do and learn here. And so I went with the Galaxy S3. And I'm actually stuck with Android as my primary mobile device ever since. Within an hour of getting home with my S3, I had already unlocked the bootloader and rooted the device. And then by the end of the weekend, I'd already gone on XDA developer forums, made an account, and downloaded the latest build of CyanogenMod, flashed it onto my S3. And so within a week, I was already running a custom operating system on my mobile device. And this continued for a few years, all the way up until I believe the Note 4, which was my final mobile device where I actually rooted it and installed custom operating systems. And to me, that was like the golden age of Android, where enthusiasts probably can recall, if you were around that time, XDA developers, everyone would go on there, they check the forums, they download different OSs, they put up apps, modified APKs like Gcam, where they modded the camera with additional functionality. Stuff like that, where then you'd participate, leave feedback, wait for improvements and patches. It was just such an amazing community where I learned so much more about technology, and that kind of widened my horizon beyond just iOS. Fast forward a few more years, and in 2015, I decided to start this YouTube channel. The goal was eventually to create a portfolio and prove that I can think about these sort of things and analyze them in ways that would allow me to get a job in that industry. I had for years been watching YouTubers and influencers who were reviewing tech and covering the tech news. And so I was like, it's my last year of high school. At this point, it's now or never. And so I'm super glad I took the plunge and started my own YouTube channel back then. And I remember at the time I was buying my own devices. Or I was borrowing stuff from friends and family to shoot, review, and then I'd hand it back to them within a few days. I'd always wanted to be able to get to the point where a company would send me a product to review. And I got that opportunity with Huawei when they launched their Huawei watch. That day, I genuinely remember being so proud that I had proven myself capable enough to the point where a company was trusting me with their product and sending it to me for 30 days so I could shoot content, review it, put it up online. And after that, I had actually started interning at different places in the industry. Fast forward a few more years, and in 2019, I interned at Microsoft as a product management intern. And that summer is when everything finally clicked. I was in a place where I got to see problems that customers were having, analyze their feedback, figure out and think of ideas and features on how to improve the user experience and solve those problems these people were having. Make business cases by figuring out, okay, which one is the most important and how do we tackle this as a team? And then working with developers and other departments to actually execute on those ideas and ship fixes and improvements to live software that millions of people were using. That was a completely different experience. And I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to be in the tech industry and help create products and services that genuinely improve people's lives in meaningful ways every single day. Fast forward a few more years, and I joined Height as their technical marketing specialist. Shortly after we launched our Y70 Touch PC case, I was given the news that I was going to be attending CES. And that day, the pure elation and joy that was running through me, I don't think I've ever experienced a high like that in my life. To be told that, hey, you're going to be part of a small team of us that's going to CES. And it wasn't even something I'd requested, right? This was something I knew in the back of my mind that I'd always wanted to do. I was working towards this for 15 years of my life. And just to be given that opportunity within just a couple months of joining a brand new team was incredible. And so I went to CES, I shot all this footage, and this is the vlog that I put together. It was not only important for me to document my first experience, living and realizing a dream that I'd had as a little kid, announcing 5 new products, talking to press, media, and influencers, as well as everyday customers and industry attendees who were just interested in these products, and to see how excited they were about these new innovations and features we were shipping in our products that nobody else seems to be doing. That was the most gratifying experience I've ever had. Talking to people and hearing that they're excited to improve their day-to-day lives and experiences with their products because of something we made. That's why I wake up every morning. And it hasn't been an easy journey. It's definitely has its ups and downs. And I've been at it for a long time. And so I also wanted to put this out there as a motivation piece to anyone who's interested in the tech industry. Whether you're young, you're further along in your adult life, you just have that interest and passion for this stuff. Keep at it. Make that next step. Make that project. Talk to that one person that you've been waiting to talk to in the industry. Put yourselves out there. Hard work does not go unnoticed. And some people have it easy, but most of us spend many, many years building up to these moments in our lives. And so that's where I wanted to end this intro. I really hope you enjoy this vlog. And yeah, CES 2024. What an incredible experience. So it is currently 1:30 a.m. on Thursday, January 11th, 2024, and I've just wrapped up my second day at my first ever CES that I've had the opportunity to attend. And so I wanted to shoot this section of the vlog to document my thoughts, feelings, and emotions so far on the trip. Now, for the first couple days, my primary focus has been work, and so I've been at the Hype booth with the rest of our team, and we've all been ready to introduce anybody who walks through our doors to the new products we've launched, walk them through the different features and innovations we've put inside, and then guide them through the different experiences we've had set up at the booth. Now, CES has been everything I could have ever imagined and hoped for, and then some. To launch 5 new products with a company that's only been around for a little over 2 years, with a team that's tiny compared to the people we're going up against in the industry, and sharing these products with press, media, and influencers, many of whom I've quite literally grown up watching and looking up to when I was a kid all the way through even till today, and seeing their raw, unfiltered reactions to these products be so overwhelmingly positive. I honestly can't put into words how that feels. I know the team has been working incredibly hard for a few years on these products, and to finally be able to share them with the world and see the positive response we've gotten has been incredible. Like, we are super proud, super excited to see where this goes. And to top it all off, Digital Trends came by today and handed us their award for CES 2024 Top Tech. We were actually the winners for our Hype Nexus Link ecosystem. And so it's just been this roll of positive vibes and energy from everyone who's come by the booth. And even people who aren't in our industry, or just everyday customers like you and me, who come in, they could be casuals or they could be hardcore enthusiasts. And every single one of them has had such an incredibly positive response to these products. And so, I honestly couldn't have hoped for it to go better for these first couple days. And so, starting tomorrow, I'm going to be going around to other booths. Rob was like, Ish, I want you to walk around and experience CES after tomorrow. So I'm glad that I have a really supportive team that's not only interested to make sure we get the best foot on our end out to make sure everyone's educated about our products and has the best experience with our products, but also that everybody who's attending gets a chance to really explore CES and get the full experience to see what they personally might be interested in. So I'm going to be going through making a list of things I want to see, or keynotes and products that I want to go around and get some hands-on footage of. And so I'll be doing that for the next couple days. But so far, CES has been phenomenal. And I really hope I get to come back next year. So we have wrapped up day 3 of CES. Unfortunately, I didn't get to walk around on the show floor today and see what everybody else had been announcing. We had members of our team flying back home to their families, folks who had come in earlier this week to help set up, and because CES doesn't have a weekend in the schedule this year for press, media, and attendees to go tour these booths and exhibits, we were also kind of in the dark as to how scheduling was going to work out and how many people are actually going to show up to our booth towards the end of the week. But it turns out today was actually our busiest day, at least for me so far, and it was also one of the coolest because I got to do my first ever on-camera interview with members of the press and media. And Jeffy also had me shoot a bunch of different content for our socials that he had planned around the products we just launched. And so I'm super hyped for being a part of those opportunities and to see those content pieces go live whenever they do. As for our plans for tonight, as you might have noticed, the background around me has changed. King, Hal, and I really enjoyed our time at the Jockey Club, but King has flown back home to his family, Stacy has flown back home to her family, and then Hal has taken up residence at a different hotel, and so I'm taking over Stacy's suite for tonight. And Stacy, I have to say, thank you so much for this absolutely sick view right outside the window. So that is the Sphere, and for my last night in Vegas, I honestly could not have asked for a sicker view of the Strip and the Sphere right outside my window. So super pumped to stay here for the night. As far as activities for the night, I'm going to be kind of relaxing, freshening up here a bit, and then we're going to head out and see what we're doing for dinner. One of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants was definitely on my bucket list for this trip, so we'll see if we can make that happen. And then Rob told me about a place called Omega Mart. Now, I'd never heard of it before, but I am very curious and excited to check that out tonight as well. So it is now Friday morning. It's my last day here at CES. And I have to say, this view, man, is just... I can't stop admiring it. Straight from bed, too. Just looks phenomenal. Last night, I had a blast. I got to go to Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen, so I got to cross that off my bucket list. I started out with a strawberry mocktail. I was actually expecting it to be a lot more flavorful, but it was kind of tame. Didn't really enjoy it that much. Then I had their artichoke risotto. Oh my god. The notes of truffle in every bite, it was just so good. I'm typically not someone who likes artichokes, but I took a chance on it and I actually loved it. So fantastic main entree there. And then I had mac and cheese on the side. It was nicely smoked and burnt on top. As soon as you broke into it, that creamy, gooey cheese with some fantastic macaroni. Oh man, it was just perfection. And then for dessert, I had their, of course, sticky toffee pudding. I've heard about it for ages. I finally got to try it myself. And it was a mixed bag. The ice cream on top and the pudding itself and the caramel, I actually really enjoyed until about halfway. And then it got to a point where it was like, okay, this is getting way too sweet for my preferences now. So I really enjoyed it, but I couldn't end up finishing it. So that was my experience at Hell's Kitchen. Fantastic crowd. Was able to just get seating at the bar itself. So it was quick, easy, and I really enjoyed it. And then after that, I actually went to Area 15. So my boss had actually recommended I check out Omega Mart. And so I took a trip down there. Unfortunately, I got there at 10:30, and the last call to be able to enter the mall was 10:20. And most of the attractions there, they open at 7 p.m., and then they close, the last call is around 9 p.m. And so, unfortunately, I didn't actually get a chance to experience anything inside, but I did get to sit down in the bar, have a couple drinks, and admire the ambience. And so you could really tell
The vibe was fantastic. I really want to go back if I'm here next year again, but earlier so I can actually experience the different attractions. They have an F1 sim racing setup, like a legit full Grand Prix sim racing setup. They have a flight sim setup where they actually have VR and they have a physical plane that you sit in. And then there's the Illuminarium where it's a bunch of lights and mirrors and you wear 3D glasses and you go into it. It's like an art exhibit. It looked incredible. But, I mean, obviously this was all from the brochures. I went around, walked around, saw the buildings from the outside. So it looked like a pretty lit place. I just happened to be just a tad bit late. So I probably should have gone there first and then to Hell's Kitchen for dinner. But you live and you learn. Now, for the last day at CES, I'm excited to go out there and see on the show floor, as well as all the other booths, to check out what other people have been announcing. And more importantly, I want to see what kind of presentation styles there are and what I can kind of learn and take away from CES so I can use that for, let's say, PAX or Computex or CES next year for our own stuff. So excited to spend my last day here in Vegas, and I'll see you guys later.
So it is now the Saturday right after CES. Got home at midnight last night. Was super tired. I mean, CES was a blast, but yeah, it does stack up. So got 10 hours of uninterrupted sleep last night, feeling fully energized today. And looking back on my last day, it's all just kind of a blur. Such a jam-packed day from start to finish. We began the day with some excellent news. We got another award for our Nexus Link ecosystem. This time it was from Tom's Hardware. They gave us Best of Show at CES 2024 for best cooling and DIY solution they had seen. And so the team was super pumped to hear that news in the morning. This actually comes back to back from Tom's Hardware. The previous CES, they also gave Hype an award. And so great vibes to start the day off with. And then I headed off to the Las Vegas Convention Center. That's where all the big companies had their main booths and expos showing off all of their new technology and gear. And so I spent 5 hours there on the show floor. I went to the Center Hall and I visited mainly the photo, video, gaming, AR, VR, mobile, and automotive sections of the show. Those were the ones I was most interested in. And given that I only had a few hours left and it was the final day, I kind of had to be very picky about where I went. And so
The coolest thing by far that I saw yesterday was a booth that Vallejo had set up, and they had worked with Verizon and BMW. I noticed the doors were closed, so I asked one of the attendants, I was like, hey, is this a private-only event? Because some of the automotive booths were shut to the open public. And he was like, well, it depends. If the crowd is light, they might let you in, so go take a look and ask around. So I went inside, and they let me in. They scanned my badge, and off to my right, there was this immersive kind of cockpit, and the guy was driving around. There was a person sitting in there, and so my first thought was, oh wow, that's a really cool like sim racing setup, right? I'm a gamer, so that was where my brain first went. I get close, and I start to notice some things are different. There's live camera feeds, there's a BMW, and wait, what's that? Up in the top center, that's the parking lot right behind us. And I noticed coming in that they had closed off the parking lot, and there were a few cars parked there. And so I kind of put two and two together, and I was like, holy crap, this person is driving a BMW remotely that's sitting in the parking lot with this setup. And that blew my mind. To think that that's the kind of technology that consumers were having access to here today at CES, that was just incredible. And so once the person in front of me was done, I asked that attendant, I was like, do I have to have signed up or registered for this? Is this like a VIP only experience? And he was like, no, you can sit down and experience it. So I did a couple laps around the parking lot. It's something you really just have to experience to realize how earth-shattering that is, to be able to do that with modern technology. But it was a great experience. I also learned a whole bunch at these different booths. A lot of different companies were using different kind of tactics and ways to show what goes in their products and to market them. And so there's definitely notes that I took to kind of improve the way we do things the next time we're at a convention that I'd like to implement and at least try to see if they're effective for these companies. They probably are going to be effective for us too. And I think the best example of that was Bosch. They had a bunch of industrial technology for electric vehicles. And what they'd done is they had a clamshell like exoskeleton of a car that had all these pieces of technology inside. And so you could see the raw tech, where it would go in the car, as well as what function it would have. It was a really cool way to show what goes inside the products. And so that was something I'm really excited to kind of take from and see how I can implement that to what we do at Height. Overall thoughts on CES. I've been working towards this for 15 years of my life, and to have gotten the opportunity to actually have gone there, introduce 5 new products to the industry, talk to people, members of the press, media, and influencers that I grew up watching, and seeing them be this excited about the products we're creating. And everyone was mentioning how Height has exploded in a little over 2 years with the product offerings and experiences we are giving this industry and the innovations we're pushing. And just to have that kind of response and see us get multiple awards for developing this technology that the team has poured so much energy and R&D and resources into over the past couple of years. Words can't describe how that feels. I've been smiling every time I look back and think about it, like, oh my God, how cool is that? And so being able to go around on the last day, see what everybody had to show, man, my feet were hurting. I totally understand my other team members who were like, oh my God, my feet are killing me, or my back is killing me. I've been walking around so much on the show floor. I really wish I had a little bit more time to go see some of the other stuff. And then lastly, I had no idea that these companies sell their prototypes or their near final production units that they were showing off at CES for super cheap. And so I had gone without any cash. I wasn't expecting to buy anything at CES, but people were negotiating, electric scooters, electric bikes, giant power banks, and storage reserves. And so I was like, wow, this is a whole new world. And so that's definitely something I'm learning and will be fixing the next time I go to CES. So definitely taking some cash with me to see if I can grab some cool souvenirs or some cool tech to bring home with me. Really cool to see that. Had no idea. Rob was like, you think Black Friday is cool? No, forget about that. CES Friday is where it's at. And I could really tell, people, even the security guards there were going up to companies and being like, yo, how much for that? I want one. And so really cool to see that kind of culture there, but super excited, super happy with how our CES went, super happy with my first experience at CES, and definitely looking forward to going back another time next year. But yeah, that's it for this vlog. Hope you enjoyed what you guys got to see. I don't have any sort of cadence I'm setting this year for the vlogs I'm going to be putting out. Mainly, I just want to capture and document these cool experiences I get to be a part of and share that not only for my own documentation and use going forward, but also with the rest of the world. Anybody who might be interested or working towards this in their own lives, getting to appreciate the kind of things that I get to be a part of. And so yeah, thank you for joining me, and until next time, peace.